Well, Qantas has found pilots who have not flown for long periods due to the pandemic are making errors such as commencing takeoff with the park brake on and need more time for routine procedures. So what challenges are airlines facing worldwide as out-of-practice pilots return to full duties after being stood down? Joining me now live is Associate Professor at the University of New South Wales Science School of Aviation, Dr. Brett Molesworth. Doctor, good morning. Thank you for joining us. I guess the first question is, can you forget to fly an aircraft?
No, it's highly unlikely that a pilot will forget to fly an aircraft. What is more likely, though, they'll forget certain procedures, or their proficiency on fine motor skills may be less tuned than what they were previously, and their work pattern may be less effective, the work cycle, for example.
Okay, so many have obviously not been flying for the last 2 years of the pandemic and now restarting operations again. What sort of challenges might pilots be facing?
The challenges predominantly relate to procedures, so ensuring that they follow the correct procedures as dictated by the airline. While a number of airlines operate or fly similar aircraft, it's the procedures that vary between the airlines. So it's ensuring that they follow the correct procedures as prescribed by the airline themselves.
What sort of training or what does it normally involve for pilots who have been out of practice for a certain amount of time?
Well, the Civil Aviation Safety Authority in Australia mandates that pilots need to complete 3 takeoff and landings every 90 days, and that's under various operational conditions. For example, if they're flying at night, they have to complete 3 at night. If they're flying under instruments, they'll have to complete 3 under instruments, and then normal operations, they'll have to also complete 3 then. But large airlines such as Qantas, Rex and Virgin in Australia, under their operational manual, that can vary. So that's an agreement between that airline and CASA themselves.
I guess given that the pandemic has been such a game changer for every industry, including aviation, is it time to review the safety and training measures in place?
I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. We have quite robust systems in place, and CASA does a really good job at monitoring that. It's ensuring that the airlines adhere to that. And if pilots put up their hand and state that they need more training or they're uncomfortable with the recurrent training that they've received, well, then the airline should accommodate. So in my view, the regulations, the procedures are there and they're quite strong. It's just the airlines need to be flexible in these times.
They are certainly interesting times, and the Omicron variant has presented a new challenge for the industry. So these sorts of closures could be ongoing. What more can airlines do, do you think, to support pilots?
They can look at their rostering system, because what we don't want to see is pilots stood down for a prolonged period of time. So yes, why we have airlines idle and pilots idle, what we'd like to do is for those that are flying, we'd like to rotate that more frequently so that pilots are stood down for a less period of time. They can also facilitate pilots getting back into the air by providing them additional sim training, and there is ground training or classroom-based training which looks at the non-technical skills such as the communication, decision-making, etc. So the airlines can offer pilots additional training and resources to facilitate or ease them back into their operations.
Well, it's certainly interesting times that we live in, but good to see pilots getting out and about once again. Dr. Brett Molesworth, we have to leave it there. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.